Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Gifted Gamer 204 back at it again with another banger, man. And in today's video, we will be staying on the topic of Nintendo, the new Nintendo Switch 2. A lot of information is coming out, each and every day. So we have to stay on it and we have to keep covering the news, right? So before we go ahead and do that, if you are new and you do like what you see here, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the like button as we keep on rolling right into today's video. So we're going to be covering, I believe, three particular topics on Nintendo, right? So let's get on with the most recent one, which is the breaking news, right? So here we are at insidergaming.com, excuse me. Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders delayed in Canada at the last minute. My goodness, bro. Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders in Canada were set to begin at 12:01 a.m. Eastern on April 9 in some stores. Unfortunately, players across the country will have to wait as Nintendo has delayed pre-orders for the console in the country at the last minute. First reported by Mobile Syrup, Nintendo confirmed the decision to wait until a later date. So they quote, pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 in Canada will not start on April 9, 2025 in order to align with the timing of pre-orders to be determined in the US. Nintendo will provide updated information at a later date. The launch date of June 5th, 2025 is unchanged. The statement reads similar to one that we provided when the company delayed pre-orders in the United States last week, which we did cover here, right? So that's it for this article right here. This is the latest, breaking news that we just actually got like a couple minutes ago, right? Um, you know, I didn't see this coming. But Nintendo has the right to do what they want to do. Those of y'all who are in Canada, I'm pretty sure a lot of you were just hoping this didn't happen to you, but unfortunately it did happen. Um, you know, we're all stuck in this dilemma together, right? We have to wait. Those of us in the US, we gotta wait. They're saying that it's still gonna be released June 5th, right? So there's some hope there. But just far as the pre-orders, we're not gonna be able to get that experience just yet, right? Now, let's just wait. We don't know what the price is gonna be. The tariff. That's why I keep telling everybody: just hold off and relax and go about your business. Let this all settle in. Let everything fall into place, and we'll make our decisions once everything is in place and they let us know what the price is gonna be and why, and they come out with all the excuses they're gonna have, right? Because we will be assuming that the price will go up. It's not gonna stay at 449, right? So let's just wait and let's see. If you're somebody, you know, who doesn't necessarily need this console at launch, then just hold off. That's what I'm telling all my people. Just hold off, relax, wait about a year or so, and let everything, fall into place and revisit this a year from now and we'll see where we at, right? There's a lot of things going on in the gaming industry. There's, a lot of games coming out this year, next year. So there's a lot of games to keep you, entertained for the time being, right? And being due to the fact that the Switch 2 actually doesn't have that a crazy launch title lineup, that also plays a factor into this, right? That also gives you enough time to wait it out and see what happens, right? That's just my suggestions, right? At the end of the day, everybody's gonna do what they want to do. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this one. We're gonna keep it moving to the next topic of this video, and we're crossing over to WCCF Tech, which they saying here that the Nintendo Switch 2 is estimated to sell 15 million units in 2025 in resounding success, but the tariffs shadow remains. Okay, so DFC Intelligence has published an updated report on the Nintendo Switch 2 following the console's full unveiling. The analysis firm's original forecast modeled 17 million units sold throughout 2025. But due to the growing tariffs concerns, it has been adjusted down to 15 million units sold by the end of this year. Even so, it would make Nintendo Switch 2 the fastest selling console ever, beating the original Switch as well as the Nintendo Wii and Sony's PlayStation 4, all of which took more than a year to reach that sales milestone. DFC Intelligence also strongly believes in Nintendo's new console's long term sales potential, adding that it could capture an even larger share than the first Switch. Part of the reason is the strong third party support seen in the reveal, with games like Elden Ring, Cyberpunk 2077, Street Fighter 6, Hitman World of Assassination, Project 007, Final Fantasy 7 Remake integrating, Hogwarts Legacy, Borderlands 4, and Civilization 7, signaling that publishers really believe in the Nintendo Switch 2. Okay, so this is a chart here that they have current PlayStation and Xbox users' attitude towards the Switch 2. And if you can see here, you know, we have positive but cautious, right? Sitting at 41%. We have negative and not interested sitting at 30%. You have the undecided people sitting at 9%. And you have the 20% people that are excited, early adopters, right? So that should give you like a rough estimate as to what's happening, what's going to happen at launch, right? Um, let's continue on here. Because of this, the firm even reckons that the console could capture an even larger market share than the previous Switch, competing more directly with Sony's PlayStation and Microsoft's Xbox consoles than it has in the past. While making its estimations, DFC Intelligence conducted surveys to assess the early sentiment of console gamers after the announcement, concluding that 61% of customers have a positive feeling towards the Nintendo Switch 2, 20% are excited and will be early adopters, while 41% are positive but still cautious about the purchase. Interestingly, even among hardcore PC gamers, the firm survey revealed that users prefer the Switch's unique offering compared to more traditional consoles like PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S, or X or Series S and X, excuse me. 44% of those who responded on a Switch own a Switch, whereas 23% own a PlayStation 5 and 17% an Xbox Series console. DFC Intelligence concludes with the bold statement that the Nintendo Switch 2 has the potential to reshape the gaming industry. The terrorist shadow remains, though. If Nintendo were forced to raise the price of the console, several potential buyers could choose to delay their purchase. In turn, Nintendo could scale back its manufacturing. While we wait for the system's launch on June 5th, check out our first impressions of Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong. Okay, so like you see this chart here, this is exactly what we just spoke on in the previous article, right? Excited early adopters, you have 20%, right? You still have undecided people at 9, but you got the positive 41%, right? But are cautious. These are the people that I'm speaking on, right? As far as when it launches, if they raise it from 449 to 549, do they have a strong enough lineup for you to go ahead and purchase the Switch 2? This is why they're positive, such as myself, right? I'm in this crowd right here. This positive but cautious. That's where I'm at. Because is it gonna be worth it to me, right? To get it right away. Am I really gonna be needing the Switch 2 at the time of release, right? Due to the fact that the lineup of games is not as strong, right? If they would have came with a new Mario 3D or a new Legend of Zelda game, that 41%, I'll tell you right now, you know, would have dropped, and that 20% of excited would have increased, right? due to the fact of a new Mario 3D and a new Legend of Zelda game, right, was out. But since it's not, this is why we're in this crowd, the 41 percenters, right? So at the end of the day, the decision, like this chart says, is gonna be up to you. Is it gonna be worth it to you at the end of the day to go ahead and purchase this day one, no matter if you know whether they increase the price of the base from 449 to 549. It's all gonna be up to you, right? So y'all let me know how y'all feel about this one right here down below. As far as the after the 15 million units sold by the end of this year, I find that very hard. You know, coming back to this real quick before we move on, I forgot to speak on it. I find that very hard to believe. 15 million units sold. We're already in April. This console was set to come out in June, right? Giving it 6 months to be able to reach that 15 million units, right? Before the end of the 2025. That's what they're saying. So they're giving this system about 6 months or so in order to reach that 50 million. The way things are looking right now, all the negative, energy around this new Switch 2 with the increasing of gaming prices to $80. We don't know what with the tariffs. We don't know what the console is actually gonna go for. There's a lot. There's too much going on right now for me to sit here and say yes, Nintendo will hit 15 million, regardless of the tariffs, right? Because you know I don't see this happening. I don't see it happening. It's a lot. That's a lot of units being moved in 6 months, and even with everything that's going on around it, if it does hit 15 million units, then we gotta sit here and applaud Nintendo for actually doing that and going up against the odds and everything that's going on and actually going for it. That'll be tremendous, bro. That'll be tremendous. And I'll be one of the first ones to say, man, I was wrong. My goodness, right? So, that's all I got to say about that. We're going to keep it moving. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. We're going to keep it moving over to VGC. All right? So, here we are. Nintendo explains why the Switch 2 game chat screen sharing has a low frame rate. Okay? So, they say here, players using Switch 2's game chat feature have the ability to turn on a screen sharing feature which shares what's on their screen with other players. This allows everyone to see what other players are up to during multiplayer games or to give player advice if they're stuck at a certain point. Players can also share their screen even if they're playing a different game, meaning one player could be playing Mario Kart World while their friend is sharing their Donkey Kong Bonanza gameplay underneath. However, players have noted that the game chat footage shown during Nintendo Switch 2 Direct appear to show other players' footage running at what appears to be 10 frames per second, as opposed to 30 frames or 60 frames, no, 30 frames, 60 frames, or even 120 frames per second, supported by Switch 2 games. In an interview with GameSpot, Nintendo Switch 2 hardware director Takahiro Doda explained that the reason game chat screen sharing runs at a low resolution is to ensure it doesn't take up too much of the console's resources, which could affect gameplay. So, they quote, obviously, chat is meant to run and work simultaneously and coincide with the game you're playing, Doda explained. But we also think it's critical that it doesn't get in the way of the game that's running right now. And so we wanted to definitely make sure what we do to make sure that running game chat alongside the game doesn't result in the game experience or quality being reduced at all in any way. Technical director Tetsuya Sasaki added that the reduced frame was to ensure everyone has the same experience, as well as ensuring enough power is left over for the games themselves. They quote, as Nintendo, one thing we really put emphasis on is making sure that everyone experiences a very even experience when it comes to the quality of service that they're experiencing, he explained. And based on on this emphasis that we prioritized, obviously if somebody is in a better environment, they're going to get better results in terms of their experience. But we really wanted to make sure that more than anything, people had an equal or even playing field or even experience rather. And I think that that was our priority as an entertainment company. Um, and the other aspect of this is that we wanted to make sure that there's enough power reserved for the games themselves. And so we have a smaller area to play around in within to make sure that all these varying aspects to fit into things like network environment connectivity. And so we landed on within this margin that we have to work within. This is a good even experience that we can provide. Nintendo confirmed its game chat feature last week during the Switch 2 Nintendo Direct presentation, where it revealed that the Switch 2 console has a microphone built into it and that players can use a USB camera to capture their reactions while playing games with their friends. Game chat will be free to use until March 31st, 2026, after which it will require a Switch Online subscription. So that's the article right there. Um, real quick, um, this was something that I had mentioned before, right? That what they showed us in that direct, that's how it's gonna be. So I applauded them for that. They're not false advertising anything, not selling you a dream, right? What you're seeing is what you're gonna get, and now they're explaining why they decided to do that, right? So I have to applaud them for that. They're being honest into why they made that decision at the end of the day. And they said that the most important thing here is the actual gameplay that you're playing on your screen. And they did not want to make this game chat feature interfere with that because that's only going to make you more upset. And now you're going to be complaining about that, right? So, Nintendo, instead of trying to go for something that they know that their hardware is not capable of doing, what they did was the best that they could to their abilities within that specific hardware and at least bring you the feature. That's what they did. Basically, right? Summing it all up right here. That's exactly what they did. Now, it's up to you whether you want to use the feature or not. It's up to you whether you want to use the camera or not. But the feature, it's there. Okay? That's all. And that's it right there. So, I don't have really much of an issue with this. Their main focus was the game, and that's what it should be, the game. Because if the game is not running well, then nothing else is going to matter. That's what you need to understand. If they were to bring this game feature and the quality of the image is running at 60 frames and everybody's happy, but your game is taking a hit because of that, you're not going to be enjoying the game. So why even bother? You know, it's better this way. The feature's there, you use it or not, whether that's up to you. But just know that your game is not gonna be taking a hit. You're gonna be playing the game and experiencing it the way Nintendo intended you to be doing so, and that's the bottom line. Okay, take it or leave it. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this one right here. We're gonna keep it moving to the final topic of this video, and it is the main topic of the video here today, people. Y'all saw the title, y'all saw the thumbnail, and here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move over to insidergaming.com, where it says that Hades 2 launching as a Nintendo Switch 2 console exclusive. Okay, so Hades 2 fans desperate for the game's full launch can only pick it up on Nintendo Switch 2 at release. It's currently locked in as a Switch 2 console exclusive for the time being, with a PlayStation and Xbox launch coming later. The Switch 2 exclusive keep coming. We're still reading from the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, where the bombshell dropped that From Software next game, The Dusk Bloods, is a Switch 2 exclusive. Now, Supergiant Games has revealed Hades 2 full release is closing in, and its first port of call on console is the Nintendo Switch 2. Okay, again, it's a timed exclusive, but this is still big for Hades 2 and Switch fans. Okay, Hades 2 coming to Nintendo Switch 2 before PS5 and Series X. This is it right here, right? This is the official announcement. Right here, the Nintendo of America X channel posted a video on April 8 about Hades 2 and its journey. The media clip is an interesting developer walkthrough and an insight into the much hyped sequel and its progress. What do you expect is a message toward the end of the video saying that Hades 2 launching first for consoles on Nintendo Switch 2. More information coming later this year. And this is the video. I will be leaving this link in the description. Y'all could go ahead and take a look at it. Um, Hades 2 has been in early access on PC since 2024. Supergiant Games has been honing the roguelike sequel, tightening up the mechanics, and making sure it lives up to the expectations of its Game of the Year winning predecessor. You're going to have to wait a bit longer to see how powerful Melano is if you're on PlayStation on or Xbox Series X. And that's it right there, right? So, just like its predecessor, Hades, the original, is the same thing. It came out for the Switch first, and then we had to wait a year, and then we saw it on PlayStation and Xbox, right? But this is the new Hades. This is part two. This is the sequel. Is this something that you're interested in, right? As a console gamer. So, could this push you over the edge to make you go ahead and press the purchase button, into getting the new Nintendo Switch 2, right? This is another thing. Hades 2 will be at least time exclusives for about a year or so, right? That's one. And they mentioned the From Software game. That's another one. That's exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2. And that goes along with Metro Prime, Beyond, that goes with Donkey Kong, that goes with Mario Kart World, and that goes with the Zelda Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Switch 2 edition those games are getting, right? There's a lot to think about here. As far as whether you should be purchasing this day one or hold off. So this is another one that they added onto that list, right? The decision is yours. This is what I'm saying. When we go back to that chart, 41% were positive but cautious, right? Could Hades 2 be a title along with the other ones that can push, I should say bring that 41% lower and bring up the positive 20% higher, right? The decision is yours. So, uh the original Hades did tremendous, right? It sold over 1 million copies in under 2 years. It is a roguelike game, right? But it was received very well. Um, Also, I wanted to bring you here to show you the awards that this game has won and been nominated for, right? You see here the Golden Joystick Awards in 2020. It won Best Indie. It won Critics' Choice. At the Game Awards 2020, it won Best Indie and Best Action, and it was nominated for Game of the Year, just like the Golden Joystick. Um, you know, um, the Steam Awards, it was nominated for Game of the Year. The British Academy Awards won Best Game, Artistic Achievement, Game Design, and Narrative, Performer in a Supporting Role for Logan Cunningham, right? Um, the Glad Media Awards, it actually won Game of the Year there, Action Game of the Year. The Dice Awards, right? Game Design, Game Direction. Um, let's see here the Game Developers Choice Awards, right? Look at all this. Game of the Year, Best Audio, Best Design, and South by Southwest Gaming Awards. It did win Video Game of the Year, right? So, you know, I just wanted to show you that because this is, a game that was well received in the gaming community, and a lot of people are excited about the sequel. But will this push it, you know, to make some of these people that are on the edge right now, not knowing whether to purchase it or not, and actually make them go ahead and do so, right? So y'all let me know how y'all feel about that one. That is the last topic I had for you guys for today's latest Nintendo news. Thank y'all so much for being here. If you are new and you did like what you saw here, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the like button on your way out. We do offer the best memberships. It is pinned in the description below. Thank y'all so much for being here. And with that being said, it is your boy, the gifted one here, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. I'm gone.